Hey guys, welcome to another video here on Boxing Chat. My name is Harry Dell, and I want to talk about something that has been on my mind recently, and that has to do with possibly, you know, we're possibly on the verge of a new golden era in boxing. More specifically, a golden era in the welterweight division. Now, we all know about, the Fab Four back in the days. You had Duran, Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and the reason why those guys are remembered today is because they had memorable fights, great fights between all of them. Um, and it was just, a sight to see when you watch these guys fight, not just each other, but when you watch them fight, you know, other opponents and other top fighters. But those are the four that I remember the most in those days. Aside from the heavyweight division. Now, today, this year, we could possibly be seeing the birth of a new golden era. And also, a golden era, more specifically in the welterweight division. We have, for example, Marcos Maidana fighting Floyd Mayweather. We have Sean Porter fighting Malignaggi. We have Keith Thurman, trying to get through all these tests that has been given to him. We have Timothy Bradley facing Pacquiao. Now, out of all those guys that are fighting, the ones that stand out to me the most is Timothy Bradley, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Marcos Maidana. Those four fighters could possibly be the new Fab Four of this generation, in this era. And I'm not going to mention Floyd, and the reason is because he's retiring next year. These other four fighters that I did mention are going to be around for a lot longer than just 1 year. We know Floyd Mayweather is a great welterweight, but he is retiring next year, and I'm talking about the future. These guys are young. These guys are in their, two of them are in their prime, and two of them are, almost there. They're getting there, and they're well on their way. So we could be seeing possible matchups between these four. You got Bradley, Maidana, Thurman, and Porter. And we could possibly see the birth of this golden era this year, depending on what happens. As we all know, this week, this coming weekend, we are going to be seeing, Bradley facing Pacquiao, this Saturday, to settle the score about what happened in the first fight. Now, let's say Bradley beats Pacquiao. Let's say that happens, okay? Just for example. Bradley will be considered, number 2, pound for pound, right under Floyd, if he beats Pacquiao. And if he beats him decisively, without any doubts, without any controversy. Then we have Porter and Malignaggi. Let's say Porter beats Malignaggi. Porter is going to start making some noise. And if he beats Malignaggi, he is going to face Kell Brook in July. And if he beats Kell Brook, then Porter's going to be even making even more noise and being, eyeballed by the boxing world as saying, whoa, this guy looks like he's the real deal. Okay, and then you got Keith Thurman, who has been, getting test after test. He's lining up, his first main event in a couple weeks. He is looking like a potential star on the rise as well in the welterweight division. And yes, he still has a lot to prove, but he very well could be, the real deal in the welterweight division as well. We'll see what's going to happen with him against Diaz. A lot of people are predicting he's going to destroy him. A lot of people are predicting that he's going to, have an easy night, but we don't know yet. But that could happen. And now to the last guy I mentioned, Marcos Maidana. He is obviously facing Floyd on May 3rd. Now, if he beats Floyd, then the whole world will put Maidana up there in the top of the sport as one of the top guys, as one of the elite fighters. And without a question, possibly the new, no, fuck possibly, for sure the new #1 welterweight. I mean, if you beat Floyd, I mean, that deserves the right, to put yourself at #1. But that's just if he wins. Now, we don't know what's going to happen between all these fights, but I'm just making an example. If each of these fighters win, and they continue to win this year against top competition, against really, big, top class fights, this could very well be the year where we're going to see the birth of a new golden era in boxing, and we could be in for a few good years of great matchups between these 4 fighters and all the fights that they are involved with that has nothing to do with each other. We could see, a good amount of years of great fights. And I mean, I feel like people are not really focusing on these guys because you still have Mayweather in the game, you got Pacquiao, okay, and you have other fighters in other divisions that are, getting more noise, or they're getting a little more attention. But these 4 in the welterweight division, I mean, you're talking about matchups that can definitely happen. They're in the same division. 3 of them are undefeated. One of them is one of the best brawlers we have in the game. Okay, and that's what makes it interesting. These 4 guys have completely different styles, and that is just, I mean, what else can you ask for? All right, you got a brawler in Maidana, one of the best brawlers in the game. You got Sean Porter, who has, a very unique style, and that is because he changes up. In every fight, he's different. He even changes up during the fight. If something doesn't work, he's gonna switch up. I mean, he comes at you, he'll box you, he'll rough you up, he'll smother your punches, he'll make it ugly for you. Okay? And you got another fighter, Keith Thurman, who can take you out with one punch. Okay? He could box you. He could go back and forth. He could be a boxer and then turn into a puncher. Okay? He's not afraid to exchange. He's not afraid to take a punch. And neither is Porter or Maidana. All of these guys right here are not afraid to get hit. They don't care about getting knocked out. They don't care about losing. They just want to give the best fights. And then, of course, you got Timothy Bradley, who can brawl all night long, or he can box you all night long. He has both, and he is not afraid to put himself at risk in a fight. And you put 4 of these guys together, and we're going to be seeing great, classic rivalries that we're going to look back, 25 years from now, and be like, God damn, that shit was good as fuck. That was some good ass boxing back in those days. And this could happen. I'm very excited for this year. This year is gonna say a lot about what's gonna happen for the next 5 to 10 years in the sport. Not just in the welterweight division. I'm talking about 54. I'm talking about middleweight. I'm talking about lightweight. I'm talking about heavyweight. This year is kind of like it's starting to feel like a reboot for the sport. The sport is really hot right now. It's got a lot more attention than it has been in the past 10, 15 years. I think it's been kind of up and down. It hasn't been as big as it was, of course, back in the day, but boxing has been like that for years. In all of its history, boxing has had its good days and its bad days. And right now, we're at a stage in boxing that it's starting to, it's starting to creep up and become, a very big sport again, despite not having, any, true competitive heavyweight division, because everyone says, hey, it's all about the heavyweights, it's all about the heavyweights, but I think we got to stop thinking like that, and we got to look at all these other divisions. But in the welterweight division, you got 4 guys that can really elevate the sport. They can really elevate the sport. And just to throw in an extra, let's say, let me see. If you throw Danny Garcia in there, because he's thinking about moving to welterweight, that's another little, extra bonus that we could have in the welterweight division. But he's not at welterweight yet. We have not seen him fight at welterweight, so I cannot, put him in there yet. But it's a possibility. So I'm telling you guys, man, I'm excited. But anyways, that's just my quick thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for the future of boxing? Do you feel like this year is going to be, answering a lot of questions for the future? Do you feel this year is not going to be as good as last year? Do you feel this year is going to be one of the greatest years in boxing history? Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, see you later.